Right now, deep in the South China Sea, China has built a chain of artificial islands bristling with missiles, fighter jets, and nuclear-capable bombers, unsinkable fortresses designed to dominate one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. At the same time, China and Russia are conducting massive war drills, rehearsing for a future where US naval dominance could be shattered in days. And new alliances are forming to stop them before it's too late. We are talking about military bases the size of small cities, built in the middle of the ocean, armed with long-range strike weapons that could reach American bases, Australia, and beyond. The South China Sea is no longer a trade route, it's turning into a nuclear-armed flashpoint. If a single shot is fired here, the world could face the most dangerous naval conflict since World War II. Let's start with the latest intelligence. According to a new report by ABC News, China has built over 3,200 hectares of artificial land in the South China Sea. These aren't just piles of sand, they're fully developed military bases. We're talking massive runways over 3 kilometers long, hangars for more than 70 fighter jets, missile batteries, radar stations, and command centers. Some islands, like Woody Island, are now home to H-6K bombers capable of carrying nuclear weapons, placing not only Southeast Asia, but even northern Australia within range. Satellite imagery shows China's ability to track nearly every vessel crossing these waters, making it nearly impossible for other nations to operate undetected. Analysts call this the fastest large-scale militarization project in modern history. The goal? To turn international waters into a Chinese-controlled military zone. While building its island fortresses, Beijing is strengthening ties with Moscow in what analysts call a clear challenge to US naval supremacy. According to Newsweek, China and Russia have launched Joint Sea 2025, one of their biggest combined exercises to date. The drills feature dozens of warships, around 20 Russian vessels, including guided missile destroyers, cruisers, and submarines, and an estimated 15 to 18 Chinese warships, backed by long-range bombers and naval aviation squadrons. The exercises focus on coordinated anti-ship missile strikes, submarine hunting, and fleet maneuvering designed to test US defenses and response times. This is not just saber-rattling, it's a rehearsal for how China and Russia might cooperate in a real conflict scenario against American carrier strike groups. China already operates the world's largest navy by sheer number of hulls, with over 370 commissioned warships, including aircraft carriers, cruisers, destroyers, frigates, and fast attack craft. Russia brings experience in missile technology and submarine warfare. Together, they send a powerful signal. US naval dominance can be challenged, and they're preparing for that day. But not everyone is staying silent. In a historic first, the Indian and Philippine navies are joining forces for a joint patrol in the South China Sea. The mission, scheduled near the highly contested Scarborough Shoal, will bring together several surface combatants, support vessels, and maritime surveillance aircraft from both nations. This move sends a clear message to Beijing. Smaller nations, backed by a growing network of partners, won't allow China to dominate these vital waters unopposed. India's involvement expands the strategic picture, signaling that China's aggressive tactics are drawing in powerful players beyond Southeast Asia. And they're not alone. Japan has increased its presence with destroyers and maritime patrol aircraft, joining multiple freedom of navigation operations. Australia has stepped in with warships and reconnaissance planes to support regional allies. Even European powers like the United Kingdom and France occasionally send frigates and carriers to this contested zone, making it clear that this isn't just an Asian dispute anymore. It's a global stand for open seas. Some Chinese analysts dismiss this as transactional diplomacy, suggesting India is simply using this opportunity to sell weapons. But most experts see it differently. These patrols are becoming part of a broader, rules-based maritime coalition, an emerging alliance determined to keep one of the world's most important sea lanes free from unilateral military control. With every new participant, The risk of a miscalculation or armed encounter grows, but so does the message that China's dominance will not go unchallenged. The U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet, headquartered in Japan, remains America's forward line in the Indo-Pacific. It operates a powerful carrier strike group, destroyer squadrons, submarines, and dozens of support vessels on constant rotation throughout the South China Sea, regularly conducting freedom of navigation operations near disputed islands. Currently, the USS Ronald Reagan, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, is based in Yokosuka, Japan, and frequently patrols the Philippine Sea and the South China Sea as a visible deterrent to Chinese expansion. Meanwhile, the USS Theodore Roosevelt has recently been operating near Guam, conducting joint exercises with Japanese and Australian forces before heading closer to the contested waters. Additional carrier strike groups, such as the USS Carl Vinson, remain on standby in the Western Pacific, ready to surge into the region within days if tensions escalate. These carriers give the U.S. unparalleled air dominance, each capable of launching over 150 sorties daily, but they must constantly reposition under the watchful eye of Chinese long-range surveillance and anti-ship missile systems. The strategic challenge remains clear. China's fortified island bases act as permanent aircraft carriers anchored in the heart of the South China Sea, while the U.S. must project power from thousands of miles away, rotating its ships under increasing risk and pressure. That's why Washington is investing heavily in the future fleet. The Navy is building new generations of frigates, advanced destroyers, ballistic missile submarines, and unmanned vessels designed to expand surveillance, electronic warfare, and strike capabilities while reducing risk to personnel. By 2030, the goal is to field a 500-ship Navy, a mix of manned and unmanned platforms, ensuring that U.S. presence in the Indo-Pacific remains both credible and overwhelming. The U.S. is also strengthening its alliances, building up basing agreements in the Philippines, expanding cooperation with Japan and Australia, and supporting partners like India and the Philippines in their patrols. The message is simple. No single nation should control the South China Sea, and freedom of navigation will be defended. But will it be enough? With China and Russia conducting joint drills, artificial island fortresses fully armed, and new alliances forming on both sides, the region feels closer than ever to a dangerous turning point. What we're seeing is a dangerous new chapter in the struggle for control of the world's most critical waterways. China's militarized islands, joint war drills with Russia, and new counter-coalitions led by India, the Philippines, and the US are setting the stage for a potential flashpoint that could drag in multiple nations. Will diplomacy prevent a conflict? Or are we witnessing the early moves in a long-term naval showdown? One thing is certain, the South China Sea is no longer just a regional issue, it's a global one, and the balance of power at sea is shifting faster than many expected. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Can the US and its allies keep China in check? Or is Beijing now unstoppable in the South China Sea? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We'll be tracking this story as it develops, and you won't want to miss what happens next.